Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while since I have made a video. The last one I made was back in August of 2019 when I was announcing that I had decided to get gastric bypass surgery. And I ended up getting the surgery in October of 2019. And it is now June of 2020. It's been 8 months, almost exactly 8 months since my surgery. Since my pre-surgery diet, which started in around August of last year, I have lost 189.8 pounds. I'll post some before and after pictures at the end of the video. It'll probably be more like before and during pictures, I guess, because I'm still losing weight. I'm still losing about 2 to 3 pounds a week, well, I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Let's see, my highest weight ever, which I hit last year, I was at about 440 pounds, which, wow, right? But as of this morning, I was down to 250.2 pounds. We can just round that down to 250, I guess. So basically, in the last 10 or 11 months, I've lost 190 pounds, almost 200 pounds, which is amazing to me. It's just awesome. It's unbelievable. Since my surgery itself on October 7th of 2019 until today, June 7th, I think, of 2020, I've basically lost 144 pounds. And so that works out to about 4 pounds per week on average, which is just mind blowing. The first couple months after surgery, I was losing like a pound a day, but it's been slowing down to about 2 to 3 pounds a week, which is still really fast and totally amazing. And I expect as I get closer to that kind of goal weight that number will slow down even more. I haven't had any side effects or complications from the surgery at all. I've honestly felt great. I haven't had any stomach issues, no nausea or vomiting or diarrhea or anything like that. It's been a breeze, and I feel amazing. I'm off all the meds that I had been on prior to my surgery. No more blood thinners, no more blood pressure pills. My hypertension is gone. My pre-diabetes is gone. My testosterone levels are up. My all my vitals and my blood work are totally normal. I sleep a lot better at night now. My sleep apnea isn't 100% better yet, but my pressure has gone down from 20 down to about 10. So I'm hoping that as I continue to lose weight, I'm hoping maybe I'll get to the point where I don't even need the machine anymore. But speaking of sleep, a lot of you know that I was pretty much bedbound for about a year and a half because of something called intracranial hypertension, idiopathic intracranial hypertension. It's also known as pseudotumor cerebri. It basically means that I've got too much cerebrospinal fluid in my head and it's like squeezing my brain from every direction. And that triggers all kinds of horrible physical and cognitive problems. It's got nothing to do with blood pressure, by the way, even though the word hypertension is in the name. It's intracranial hypertension, and it just has to do with the cerebrospinal fluid and the excess pressure inside the brain. My intracranial hypertension then triggered full-blown chronic fatigue syndrome, which isn't just being tired all the time. By the way, if you're not familiar with chronic fatigue syndrome, it's also known as myalgic encephalomyelitis, and it's not just being tired all the time. It's not some psychological condition. It's like a legitimate, like quantifiable. They've got new tests that they can do on the blood, and there's more than just being tired. For me, it was causing crippling pain. I was just in pain all day, every day, muscle, joint pain. My brain just wouldn't work. I couldn't read or write. I couldn't talk on the phone. I couldn't carry on a conversation for more than about 15 minutes. I couldn't even watch TV. I was super sensitive to light and sound. I'd have to wear earplugs all the time, and we had to block out all of our windows with aluminum foil. The neighbors probably thought we were cooking meth, but whatever. Anyways, it was a nightmare. So one of the recommended treatments for intracranial hypertension for obese people, anyway, because non-obese people get intracranial hypertension too. But if you are obese, one of the best treatments for intracranial hypertension is actually gastric bypass surgery. And so that's literally the only reason why I decided to do it. I was honestly, I got into a place in my life where I was completely contented being an obese man. I was accomplished. I didn't let it hold me back in life. I had earned a PhD, professor at a major university. I'd traveled the world. I'd done field work in little villages across Mesoamerica. I'd done like 9 triathlons, and I did all of that while being morbidly obese. But then I got intracranial hypertension, and my life just stopped. I had to go on disability from work. I became bedbound. Had to use a wheelchair. It was awful. But before that, I was a happy fat guy. I really was. But I got sick with intracranial hypertension, and the treatment was getting gastric bypass surgery. And so I did. And I'm glad I did. A lot of my symptoms have stopped over the last 8 months. The daily pressure headaches were instantly gone, as in like the day of the surgery, like before I'd even lost any weight from it, which is weird. And the crippling muscle and joint pain was pretty much gone the same day as well. My doctors don't really understand why. My light and sound sensitivities instantly got better, but not 100% better. I still struggle with them a little bit here and there. But I don't need to wear my welder's goggles outside like I used to. Let's see. I've lost a lot of muscle mass just from being bedbound for so long. I was basically bedbound for about 14 months, but also just the massive fast weight loss leads to a lot of muscle loss as well. And so I'm still pretty physically weak from all that. As far as exercise goes, I can walk or do like super easy hikes for like 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I'll go for swims at the local rec center. It's just like a super leisurely pace, and that's about all I can do. If I try to go too hard, it'll lay me up for days. Like it just completely drains me, and not just for that day, but it'll last for a few days. But considering I used to be in a wheelchair anytime I left the house and had to use a walker or a cane anytime I needed to just get around the house, I'm doing good, right? No complaints at all. My voice is a lot weaker than it used to be. It's pretty much creaky all the time, except for maybe a couple of hours here and there on my good days. But that's as a result, I think, of just not using it very much because I wasn't able to talk very much while I was bedbound. I'm hoping maybe with more, talking that those muscles will strengthen as well. So overall, I still do struggle with chronic fatigue issues. I'm better than I was, but I'm not like all better. So anyways, most mornings I'm able to get about 6 to 7 hours of feeling kind of normal. It's enough that I was able to come off a disability in April because I can just work from home because of the whole pandemic thing. And so as soon as I wake up, I usually just start working on stuff that requires brain power, and I just, work as hard as I can for 6 or 7 hours. But then usually by the early afternoons, I start crashing, and I have to be in bed for a nap between like 1 and 3 p.m. like at the latest. It's not like, oh, I could use a nap. It's like I physically can't stay awake, and I have to get in bed and take a nap. And sometimes I'm out for a half hour. Sometimes I'm out for an hour and a half. And but usually I'm pretty useless after I wake back up, and I'll just lay in bed for another couple of hours before I'm able to physically stand back up. Sometimes I'm able to work my way out to the family room and sit in the recliner or something like that. But yeah, my productive time is in the mornings. So I'm still not 100%. Physically or cognitively. I may never be. Technically, idiopathic intracranial hypertension and chronic fatigue syndrome are both incurable diseases. And so everything that I've been doing is to manage my symptoms and hopefully put me into some kind of remission. But yeah, there's really no cure for what I've got. Besides the weight loss surgery, one of the things we're doing to manage my symptoms is they put me on Diamox or acetazolamide. It's a diuretic that somehow reduces the amount of cerebrospinal fluid in my brain or in my head, I guess, and that seems to be helping with the brain fog and some of the physical issues. And it was once I started on Diamox that I was able to return back to work. So again, we're hoping that as I keep losing weight, that the rest of the symptoms will improve. But honestly, we don't know if I'll ever be back to 100%. It's frustrating and it's kind of scary, honestly, because I'm a research professor and my job depends on me having good brain and talking big words and whatever and stuff. But yeah, but for the time being, I'm able to get some good work in. I'm doing some research and some writing that I'm happy about, and so far so good. But anyways, let's get back to the good stuff about losing weight. That's more fun, right? Let's talk about that. This is the lowest weight that I've been at in about 20 years. There were a couple of times in my 20s when I got down to about 250, maybe even dipped a little bit below into like 245 at the lowest. But I'd always kind of hit this point and just ricochet right back up to whatever my highest weight had been, and then usually adding on another 10, 15, 20 pounds and repeating that cycle over and over since my 20s until I reached 440 pounds last year. And I've been an adult for 30 years now. I'm 48, and I've spent 27 or 28 of those 30 years being obese. So being down to 250 right now feels pretty awesome. In terms of my BMI, I've gone from being classified as super morbidly obese to morbidly obese, and now I'm just plain old obese, which to me is a reason to celebrate. And I'll have to lose another 30 pounds, I think, before I'll be technically just overweight and no longer obese. If I want to get down to a normal weight, I would have to lose another like 65, 70 pounds. I think I'm 6'0", so I think I would have to be like under 184 or something like that to be considered a normal weight. But I honestly don't know if I want to be that skinny. I like being a big dude. I like having a physical presence. So I'll see how I feel when I get down to like 215, I guess. I haven't been that weight since I was in 8th grade, and I was a few inches shorter then. So I'm curious to see how I'll look and how I'll feel, and I'll just kind of go from there, I guess. Let's see, something fun. About a week and a half ago, I went on a big water slide for the first time in my entire life. Our local rec center is open now, in spite of the pandemic. And my little girl was like, "Daddy, you want to go on it? And now that you've lost weight?" And I was like, "Okay, let's try it." And it was so fun. And my wife was just cracking up because I just looked so goofy. I was like, ah, I was like so happy. It was fun. I'd never experienced anything quite like that. It was just like this adrenaline rush, and it was cool. And I can't wait to go do it again. As for clothing, I've gone from like I think I was like a 54, 56 inch waist, and I'm down to a 38, which just blows my mind. For my shirts, there are now significantly fewer X's before the L's. I used to be a 6XL, and I'm now down to just a 2X. My neck size has gone down from like a 24 down to like 18 and a half. So yeah, it's nice. What's really cool about being down to these sizes is I can shop in normal stores now. I used to have to go to a Big and Tall that was like 40 minutes away, and everything was super expensive and the selection was limited. But yeah, it was almost overwhelming. I went into JCPenney and to Kohl's over the weekend, wore my mask, being responsible. But I was just kind of overwhelmed at the selection and just how much cheaper everything is. You guys don't realize how much more expensive clothing is for obese people. I may do a whole other video just about the fat tax. Anyways, in terms of the surgery itself, there are different kinds of bariatric surgery. There is a gastric band, the gastric sleeve, the duodenal switch, but I opted for the gastric bypass just because it tends to have the best success rate in terms of how much total weight is lost, and then also in terms of long-term maintenance. And the numbers are actually surprisingly good. There's kind of a misconception out there that people that get the surgery put all the weight back on, but it's just not true. It's a safe procedure. It's all done laparoscopically now. There's 5 incisions on my belly, but the scars are like maybe a half an inch long. And I only spent 1 night in the hospital. I was sore for about a week, maybe 10 days. This is where they made the incisions, and then that was pretty much it for any kind of pain or discomfort. the first week or two after surgery, you kind of can only have liquids. That's one of the hardest parts about the whole process, frankly. And then they work you into like mushy foods and to lean proteins. And then after like a month and a half, you're basically on the diet, eating what you're going to be eating for the next, until you lose the weight, which is lean proteins and veggies. So I eat about a half a cup to a cup of food per meal 3 times a day. So for breakfast, I might just eat like a scrambled egg with some cheese on it, and then maybe a couple of cherry tomatoes on the side. For lunch, I might do some deli meat with some carrots or something. But I don't really snack that much. If I do feel like I need a snack, I'll just grab a handful of mixed nuts or a piece of cheese or something. But that's kind of the amazing thing to me after the surgery is I'm just not that hungry anymore. I feel satisfied with like half a cup to a cup of food 3 times a day. And I don't have cravings like I used to. Like I used to be obsessed with donuts, particularly. I just thought about donuts all the time. To the point where I couldn't focus on my research or writing for work if I didn't have a couple of donuts first. And now I literally don't even think about them. It's not that I have to, that it's easier for me to, not give into the temptation. Like I just don't even have the temptation right now. From what I understand, I'm sort of still in what's called the honeymoon period of the weight loss phase, and some of that hunger and some of those cravings may return, in a year or 6 months, something like that. But for now, it's been a nice little vacation. I'll be honest. When I see donuts or cookies or whatever, like it's like I'm detached from them now. It's like it's like an old TV show that I used to really love, and now when I'm scrolling Hulu or Netflix and I see it pop up, I'm just like, I don't want to watch it anymore. It was fun while it lasted, but I don't care about it anymore. And that's just sort of how I feel about donuts and junk food. It doesn't bother me if other people eat it in front of me. It's totally fine. I've been on diets before where I was eating pretty much what I'm eating now in the same quantities I'm eating now at the same times I'm eating them now. But the difference is back then I would just experience aching hunger like all day, every day. Like I just could never not be hungry. And so that's kind of the beauty of this surgery is that it makes it easier to eat a proper amount of food. But to be clear, surgery is not easy. It's not the easy way out. It takes me a lot of planning, a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment. But what's different now is I feel like there's kind of a level playing field between my effort and my results. It's just I'm consistently getting the results from my effort, whereas in the past that wouldn't be the case. People that are naturally thin they just can't understand how monumentally difficult it is for an obese person, especially someone that's been obese their whole lives, to not only lose the weight, but to maintain weight loss. There's a lot of physiological reasons, not psychological, like physiological reasons as to why it's virtually impossible for an obese person to become sustainably non-obese just through diet and exercise alone. I may do a whole video just about that topic because I think it's kind of important. Anyways, sorry if I've just kind of been rambling. I guess to sum up, I'm still struggling with some of my fatigue issues, but I'm way better off than I was. I'm officially off disability and back at work, which feels amazing. Overall, I'm thrilled. I'm happy I had the surgery. No problems at all from it. It's been nothing but a blessing and a miracle in my life. It gave me my life back, really. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Like I said, I think I do plan on making some more videos just because I feel like I'm living in a whole new world here, and I've learned some things that I think maybe could be helpful to some other people. So I'll see you again soon. I'll leave you with some before and after pics, and I'll see you later.